The stadium lights dimmed, and the final echoes of applause from Taylor Swift's sold-out concert faded into the night. Backstage, the adrenaline still pulsed through her veins as she wiped sweat from her brow, her heart racing from the energy of thousands of fans singing along to every lyric. Despite the exhaustion, there was a warmth in her chest, a reminder of why she did this. Music wasn't just a career, it was a connection, a bridge between hearts. As she made her way toward the exit, security flanking her on both sides, her eyes caught sight of a lone figure standing beyond the metal barriers. A young woman, perhaps in her early 20s, clutching a small, battered notebook to her chest. Her eyes weren't filled with the usual excitement Taylor saw in her fans. Instead, they held a quiet desperation, like someone carrying a story too heavy to bear alone. Something compelled Taylor to stop. She gently signaled her security team to hold back as she approached the girl. "Hi there," Taylor said softly, her voice cutting through the quiet hum of the emptying arena. The girl's breath hitched. "I didn't think you'd actually stop," she whispered, clutching the notebook tighter. "Well, here I am," Taylor replied with a warm smile. "What's your name?" "Lena," the girl answered, her voice trembling. I wrote something, for you, about your songs, about my life." Taylor hesitated for a moment, then gently extended her hand. "Can I see it?" Lena handed over the notebook, its cover frayed from years of handling. Taylor flipped through the pages, her eyes scanning handwritten lyrics intertwined with journal entries, sketches, and notes. Each page told a fragment of a story. Loss, love, heartbreak, hope, all woven through Taylor's own songs. "This is incredible," Taylor murmured, her fingers tracing the words. "Do you have time to tell me more?" Lena's eyes filled with tears. "I have all the time in the world." Taylor led her to a quiet corner backstage, sitting cross-legged on the floor, the world outside fading away. Lena began to share her story, her voice wavering but gaining strength with each word. She spoke of her mother, who had been diagnosed with a terminal illness when Lena was just 16. Music became Lena's refuge, and Taylor's songs were the soundtrack to her struggles. Each lyric felt like a lifeline, pulling her back when the weight of grief threatened to drown her. Lena described nights spent listening to All Too Well, her tears mingling with the melody, feeling as if someone understood the ache she couldn't put into words. Taylor listened intently, her heart aching with every detail. She saw her own struggles reflected in Lena's story, different paths, but the same raw emotions. When Lena spoke of losing her mother last year, her voice broke. "After she passed," Lena whispered, "your song, Daylight, was the first thing I listened to. It made me believe that maybe, someday the pain would feel less sharp, that there could be light again." Taylor reached out, gently squeezing Lena's hand. "I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm honored that my music could be there for you." They sat in silence for a moment, the kind that needed no words. Then Taylor stood up, extending her hand. "Come with me." Lena hesitated but took Taylor's hand, allowing herself to be led through the maze of hallways until they reached an empty rehearsal room. There was a grand piano in the center, bathed in soft, golden light. "Play me something," Taylor said. Lena shook her head. I'm not a performer." "You don't have to be. Just play." With trembling hands, Lena sat at the piano. She opened the notebook, flipping to a page filled with her own lyrics, inspired by Taylor's music but uniquely her own. Her fingers found the keys, and as she began to play, her voice wavered but grew stronger with each note. Taylor listened, her heart swelling. Lena's song was raw, filled with unfiltered emotion, the kind that pierced straight through the soul. It wasn't polished, but it was real, achingly beautiful. When Lena finished, tears streaming down her face, Taylor clapped softly. "That was stunning," she whispered. "You have a gift." "It's just how I cope," Lena replied, wiping her tears. "Sometimes, that's when the best songs are born," Taylor said, "from the places that hurt the most." In the days that followed, Taylor kept in touch with Lena. She invited her to more concerts, introduced her to people in the industry, and even co-wrote a song with her, a piece that told Lena's story, woven with Taylor's signature style. Months later, Taylor surprised her fans during a concert. "I want to introduce you to someone special," she announced, her voice echoing through the stadium. "She taught me that music isn't just about performing, it's about healing. Meet Lena." Lena walked onto the stage, her heart pounding, but her spirit soaring. She looked out at the sea of faces, then back at Taylor, who gave her an encouraging nod. As Lena began to sing the song they wrote together, the crowd fell silent, hanging onto every word. When she finished, the applause was deafening. After the show, as they stood together under the stage lights, Taylor whispered, "See? Your story matters." Years later, Lena became a songwriter, her music touching hearts around the world. In every interview, when asked how it all began, she would smile and say, "It started with a notebook, a broken heart, and a melody that found me when I needed it most." But the story didn't end there. Lena went on to mentor young artists, sharing the lessons she'd learned from her own journey. She founded a charity supporting music therapy programs for children coping with loss, ensuring that the healing power of music reached those who needed it most. At one of Taylor's future concerts, years after their first meeting, Taylor paused mid-set, looking out into the crowd. "Music brought me to many people, but some connections last a lifetime. Tonight, I want to honor someone who turned her pain into purpose. Lena, thank you for reminding me why I do this." The crowd erupted in cheers, and somewhere in the audience Lena smiled, her heart full. The melody of her life, once marked by grief, had transformed into a song of hope, resilience, and connection. And as long as music played, their shared story lived on, an eternal echo of a chance meeting, a battered notebook, and the unbreakable bond of hearts healed through song.